Today, on the 27th of November, the Battle Pass has just ended, and update 1.27 is out. This does not mean, however, you have lost access to your tokens. You still have until the 20th of December to spend your Battle Pass tokens. The way that you do this, because the main Battle Pass feature here in the top middle has gone, you go to the store, you then go to the left-hand side where it says Battle Pass, click that, click Items for Tokens, and then you'll see all of the tanks here. You may need to click Continue Purchasing or something like that before you get to this stage, but you should see all the tanks and also equipment and anything else that you can spend your Battle Pass points, or sorry, tokens on. Now, I'm going to be making videos every single day on each one of these tanks, giving them a review and telling you what I feel about them. I'm going to be as objective as possible though with this. I'm not going to try and let my bias get involved in this, because for each person, the tank will be worth something to you. For example, I don't like the K91 PT, but people might like it. So I will be as objective as I possibly can and tell you what I feel this tank would be good for, or who this tank would be good for in each one of these videos. Today we are starting out with the Char Futur 4. Now this tank is insanely flexible. You can do a lot with this vehicle. The gun is one of the best features about this tank though. For the standard penetration, you have 264mm of pen and 330 heat rounds with 390 alpha. This is lovely. This is pure medium tank gun at its best. You have 4 shells in the magazine because it is an autoloader. However, those 4 shells are separated by a 4-second intraclip reload. So that means that you will shoot once, you wait 4 seconds, you can then shoot again. And you can do that 4 times. Well, technically, it's actually 3 shots after the first shot, but okay, we're good. The time for completing a full reload would be 40 seconds. Remember, this is all the base stats. Obviously, that can go down with equipment and consumables and crew skills and stuff like that. And the base DPM is 1,800, which is not great DPM. Let's not get carried away here. This is not good DPM. However, because it's an autoloader, it doesn't really matter as much because you have that clip potential. Your dispersion at 100 meters is 0.34 base, and your aim time is 2.2 seconds. This gun is really, really nice. It's one of the nicest guns at tier 9, at least in my opinion, and lots of people do enjoy this tank because it is a mix of everything. It's low profile enough, which means that it gets lots of camo, and as you can see here, you have 16.13% camo for the stationary and 12.8% when moving. And that 12.08% is actually very, very good because it allows you to move around the map without feeling like you've just kind of lost all your camo just because you're moving. There's some tanks where the camo difference, where it's not high enough base camo, that when you then go on the move, you feel very uneasy about moving through the open. With this, if you're far enough away and keep your distance from the enemy, you have more than enough camo on the move. You go more than fast enough as well at 60 in top speed for the forwards and then 20 in reverse, and also 23 power to weight, which means that you can actually shift around the map. You're very agile. You also have 1,750 hit points, which is enough to deal with a few shots that you're going to be taking. Obviously, be aware of FVs. And your view range is the only real kind of letdown on this tank, I would say, because you get 380 base. Now, that's by no means terrible, but it does mean that you're kind of needing optics to keep up with the view range of, say, other vehicles. Now, if we do go ahead and put this into comparison and show you what this thing can be like when it's fully maxed out, or just in general when we're setting this tank up, and the crew perks that I would choose, here is all the perks in the game. And I think this is a much better way of actually showing you the perks that I would choose, because I wish the actual crew system was like this, where I could just go here, select what I want, and then click confirm. This would be, mwah, please, Wargaming. Make this the way that I choose crew perks on my entire crew. But obviously, first of all, you would like Brothers in Arms, without a doubt. You also would like repairs and also concealment. These 3 are kind of the go-to, right? They are the ones that you want regardless of what you are choosing for the rest of them. Because the concealment helps out with, your spotting capability and also being able to ambush tanks as well. It's something that you might think you don't really need sometimes, but concealment can actually help out really, really well, especially if you're on an open map and you do want to ambush someone, because you can just go back behind a bush, and because your camera rating is very, very good, you then have 1, 2, maybe even 3 shots before they get close enough to then spot you. Or alternatively, you can put those shots in and then just back off again. So Concealment is a must on this vehicle, as well as repairs. Repairs is always a must on every single tank in the game. I don't care what tank it is, unless it's an SPG, but we're talking about tanks, remember. But repairs is always just a must on every single tank because it just helps out. If you get tracked in the open, you're pretty much dead. You need to have a repair crew. And then, of course, obviously, Brothers in Arms, because that's just half of what a food consumable is going to give you. So, yes, choose this. Now, for the Commander, Recon, Emergency, Mentor, because the other three are not necessarily that useful. And here's the reason why. You already get good enough aim time at 2.02 seconds with this setup so far. Let's take off Emergency because that then counts it, but 2.06 seconds. You don't need coordination for the aim time. And even if you did, yeah, it gives you a nice little bonus, but some people use this to know what you've spotted, which is a valid option, but I feel like Emergency will give you more. The reason for this, and why I always choose Emergency on pretty much any tank, especially if you're spotting. There are times where you get spotted, you then get shot. If Emergency then activates, you actually have more view range. So if you take the shot and then someone else fires at you, you may actually be able to go and spot what just fired at you because of Emergency. As you can see here, you gain an extra 9 meters of view range just from getting shot at. Not to mention you gain more camo and everything else, and this will be active for 15 seconds. So you could then run off, get unspotted. You then have better camo as well for your chances of being unspotted, and then you can go about your business. I think Emergency is one of those perks that goes quite under the radar sometimes. I mean, sound detection is irrelevant, and practicality, yes, is nice, but I wouldn't recommend it for this tank. The aim time is good enough to go without coordination, and the other two are pretty irrelevant. Now, for the gunner, you're obviously going to want to have armor and also snapshot. Snapshot to just get that dispersion down, and also armor just to increase your RNG chances. And also then your gun dispersion goes up as well, or goes down as well. So these two are lovely. Then the last one is a throw up between if you want to have Deadeye or maybe Designated Target. Now, it depends on how you're going to play this tank. If you're going to play it like a spotter a lot of the time, or at least you feel like you're going to be spotting quite a bit, Designated Target is your best option. Now, if you have watched me before, then you know that I absolutely love Deadeye, and I would probably pick it, but I feel like for most people, Designated Target is going to be the better option. The reason being is that this will just let you spot for 2 seconds longer, and it also identifies the damaged modules, but that's a little bit irrelevant. But this is going to help you out with spotting, whereas Deadeye is just for people who really know where the modules are, and then you can set people on fire a lot easier. Or at least your chance of setting people on fire goes up, or ammo racking them, or stuff like that. But I think Designated Target is definitely better. Concentration is just useless. It's a placebo perk. There's no point of choosing this thing. 3.5%, you are not going to notice it. Your circle goes down a little bit, but you have to wait 3 seconds for it, so it's irrelevant. And then obviously, as we've already said, quick aiming, yes, it would be nice, but it doesn't really have a problem with the traverse speed too much, and the aim time is already good. And then finally for the driver, this one is actually pretty simple. You want off-road driving, you would like to have a smooth ride, and then actually the last one is kind of down to you, because you could have controlled impact, which I think is the best out of these three. Engineer is nice. I like Engineer, so I still like Engineer, but there's also then clutch braking as well. I mean, I think personally controlled impact is going to be best because it just helps you out when you do get rammed, because you don't weigh that much. You only weigh 28 tons. And if you have controlled impact, at least then it helps out a little bit. Especially considering you are so light, it's quite nice to have. But the other ones, I mean, reliable placement, I've never seen anybody pick this. But yeah, clutch braking or engineering, it's down to you. Or you can go controlled impact. And then comes the bonus perks, which are pretty simple. The radar operator, you want situational awareness, you want to have firefighting, and then probably communications expert. Because as I said, this thing does have a lot of camo, and you can scout with it. So communications expert comes in pretty clutch sometimes. The other one that you might want to choose is side by side. If you do platoon a lot, this is actually very, very useful because you can go around with your other medium tanks and then get the bonus. However, if you're going to be playing solo, I think communications expert is a little bit better. I do still also like the signal interception, but I think for this vehicle, communication expert is the one you want. And then last but not least, the loader, which is going to be extremely simple. Safe stowage, intuition, and then ammo tuning. Job done. So now when we add this to the comparison, as you can see, we have gone up to 1,900 average damage per minute, which is quite nice, and then down to 0.31 dispersion at 100 meters. Our view range is now 409 meters with 29.76 stationary camo. And bearing in mind, this is not when each one of these perks are active. As you can see here, if each one of these perks was active, we'd have 422 meters view range. So this is without any of the activation perks. Now moving on to the field mods, and this is very, very simple. You go left, right, right, right. Very simple for this vehicle. For the first one, you want the left-hand side because this will actually help out when you get the engine knocked out, you get ammo racked, or if you have a damaged gun, it will then reduce it by however much it says right here. For the next one, it's just free accuracy because the dispersion during hull movement and stuff like that, we're going to be putting a stab on this vehicle, so we don't have to worry too much about that. So go down, get the aiming size down as low as you can. This one is pretty much free concealment. You lose a little bit off the top reverse speed, and the suspension repair speed goes down a little bit, or up technically. But this will give you more camo so that you are now at a whopping 33.76% camo rating when you're stationary, and then 26 on the move. And then the last one allows you to actually aim in between the shells. You have 4-second range clip anyway. It's going to take a while to go all the way back down to nothing, but this just helps it reset after you've fired. And also, yes, I know that this reduces the reload time, but as we've already mentioned, this is more about the clip than the DPM. So let's go and put some camo on the tank. So now we're up to 36% camo and 29% on the move, which is very, very good. And let's talk about the equipment choices. Now, there are two mandatory ones for the number 1 slot, which is going to be vents and stab. These are non-negotiable in my opinion. You could choose anything for the third one, but these other two, between vents and stab, you just can't really get rid of. The stab helps out so much with the gun handling that you need because it's not god tier gun handling. With a stab, it then becomes very nice, but without a stab, it's not that nice. Vents obviously just helps out everything in general, especially on autoloaders. It's really, really nice. It's the only way that you're going to get your DPM down. So vents, again, is a must. And then for the last one, it's really down to you. And I don't mean like it's down to you and pick a few different equipment choices. It's genuinely down to you because it doesn't matter what you pick here. You could pick a turbo, you could pick optics, you could pick hardening, you could pick IAU. You could even pick a low noise exhaust if you wanted to. You could pick anything in here because right now the view range is not great, but with food, you then boost this up to 443 meters. You have 39% camo and 31% on the move. And now, you see what I mean? With this much view range, you don't necessarily need optics if you're going to have a secondary build to scout, and everything else is really, really nice. You have 0.28 dispersion, so you don't necessarily need IAU either. Yeah, it's one of those tanks where it's really down to you for that third equipment choice. However you feel you want to play the tank, that's how you should play it. In my opinion, I would either go between hardening, turbo, or optics. They are the three things that I would maybe choose on this vehicle. I would say hardening is probably the best. However, even though that you're not going to be brawling with this tank, the reason why you want to have hardening is the repair time is insane. 2.96 seconds, even though that's actually wrong and it's a second more than that, but that's a different topic entirely. But your hit points go up as well to 1,950, which means that you can take more hits. And your track health goes up as well. It's just nice in general to have hardening on a tank if you can get it without too many compromises. And for this, in this scenario, it is nice to have. When I was playing the vehicle, I was using turbo, and this is for one reason alone, because lots of you will look at this and go, you don't need turbo on this vehicle. Like, you already go fast enough. You had 23 power to weight or something ridiculous like that, and then you had 60 top speed. It's not so much for the speed, it's for the reverse speed, because you go down because of the field mod choice here on the second to last one, where you would then lose 2 kilometers an hour. So then if you then add it back up with the turbo, you then go back into a much nicer state. So when I was playing this vehicle, that is what I was choosing right here. I think that this is a perfect loadout. For the secondary loadout, you would drop this and drop this, and then you would go for CVS. You would make sure what you choose in your equipment slot for your bonus one is scouting, and then the first one will be optics, preferably bounty optics. Now, in my opinion, you keep the stab. I think that you keep the stab for the secondary build because the gun, it still needs to gun, you know? It's not very nice without a stab. And yes, you could get rid of it and then go for low noise and you have ridiculous camo rating. You have 47% with 39% on the move and you can be a very, very good scout. However, as I said, with every single other one of these medium tanks that I play, I don't play to replace my scout. I play to just be annoying. And I feel like this then still keeps the firepower of the medium tank and potential damage that I can deal with stab, whereas I then lose out on quite a bit if I didn't have it. So these three for the secondary loadout, and then obviously whatever you want for the third equipment choice on the first one, we're along with vents and stab. So welcome to Highway, and we are going to the city, which is a odd choice to be honest with you. The way that I was working this out is from here you can, I'm just going to pause it for 1 second just to show you. From here you can get easy shots on anybody that is peeking out this side, but also anybody that rushes across this, and this is the main one that I wanted to do, because if you do get someone that does rush that, you get an easy shot onto them, like this guy. Unfortunately, he's actually trying to side scrape on that corner, so no easy shot for us. But just wait here, go unspotted, we then will peek again in a second. The E5 next to us wants to go forwards, which is fair enough. He takes a shot, and now we just back off, we just wait, be patient, wait for the opportunity to present itself, and then we can peek again in a second. As you can see, this spot is not as good as something like this one over here, but it's still more than manageable. Try and side scrape, which this tank can't do, and we just wait for this. I was hoping that we'll get a shot on someone here, but unfortunately, yes, the 452K can easily go through us at that angle. So instead of worrying about that, it's time to move on. Time to go back around and into the fight at a different angle. Now I'm just going to speed this up slightly because not a lot happens here. Especially considering that we do have that long 40-second reload. But as you can see, we're just waiting. We're being patient. We don't need to rush in. We don't need to do anything right now. The only thing that we need to do is find a way into this game. And to be honest with you, it's something that I sometimes struggle with myself because I want to try and push into stuff. I want to try and force the aggression of a fight or the play, and it can sometimes get me in trouble doing that. But especially in this tank, if you can learn to not do that and just learn to wait for your opportunity to present itself, you usually end up getting rewarded. As you can see here with the E75, one into the side of his turret, we can then maybe put one into there. No, he then peeks out. I make a mistake here though. I should be turned around and reversing out this way because it's less of a target. As I go around this corner, I have to expose all of my hull if I actually want to shoot. Whereas if I reverse, well done, Max. Well done. I finally learned, you see? It's a lot easier. Now we wait for this guy to peek out. We can actually aim like this. Put one through there. Very nice. Do we get the second one? No. And then we go for the reload again. 1,256 damage. By no means a great result so far. However, we have only taken 586 in return. Again, not a great trade, but it's still positive at least. And we just wait. You will do a lot of waiting in this tank. A lot of waiting. It's one of those vehicles, whether you're scouting or you're playing the tank normally, you'll be waiting a lot. And the 40-second reload honestly doesn't kill this vehicle, but it's one of those things that you need to watch out for. You need to be well aware that you will be reloading for a lot of time. And we try and track this guy, track him again. Nice, put one into that. And then we can just keep this guy perma-track. This E75 is now completely out of the game. So we've isolated him, he's dead. And now the other one is dead. What was that? The BZ58-2, which video coming soon on that tank. And the Type 68 is now there and dead. Now, we win the city. All well and good. 1,800 damage for 586 damage in return, which is a very positive trade now. We're a lot better. And in fact, well over 2k combined. However, we are actually losing the base. And I'm surprised that the enemy hasn't put pressure on us so far. Because they have taken the base, but then gone, you know what? The base is optional. We don't need the base. We don't need to put pressure on them to come back. You know, they've won the city. What we're going to do instead is we'll push up the STRV to B9 and we'll sit in the middle of the map. I have no idea what they're doing, okay? And this UDES is going to be a bit of a struggle here because I can't pen him with APCR rounds and I've just shot one shell, which means that I can't intuition quick to heat rounds. If you don't know, if you want to use intuition, it has to be a full mag. You can't have shot one shot and then feel like you want to intuition. It will be the full reload time. So you're actually better off in this scenario, or I am better off to try and dump this clip into someone. And we need the UDES out the game. The UDES out the game will allow us to, 1, stop them from spotting our heavies at the back, but 2, it's a very, very annoying tank to deal with if it's hold down. So we get him out the game, we can then move on to the STRV. I only have 1 shell remaining, and this Leo, I have no idea what this Leo is doing, okay? He is failing to kill a 1-shot STRV, and we just finish him. Listen, I was going to finish him off. I had a bit of Leo syndrome. But either way, this Leo is questionable. He was struggling to kill an STRV, which was a bit of a struggle. And now we are in a bit of a questionable situation ourselves, as we are both reloading. So we do a little bit of a dance. You know, the CC Mark II, he has a long reload. I have a long reload. I'm reloading in a second, but we're not going to kill him. We're going to kill this. Because then that gets the cap dealt with. And even if we die now, we're in a much better situation. The only way that they could possibly win that game is if they capped. Or at least from this moment in time, was if they capped. And we then chose very much discipline over the quick damage of what we would get on the CC Mark 1, or Mark 2, sorry. So we played well, we didn't shoot the CC Mark 2, we then killed the Cobra, which we needed to, and then we could all move on with our lives. I would love to tell you that I went and gone and killed all the rest of these tanks, but, well, this happened. And, I spotted this, we shot, and then, yeah. For some reason, I had forgot that the artillery was not over this way. And it was actually over there. I should have known this anyway, because it shot me from over there. But anyway, listen, it went well in the end. If we speed this up, you can see the CCTP pushes through. He goes off. He tries to kill the M53-55, which is there. He kills that. Artillery kills the Batchat. Job done. Victory all round. So for that game, we get 4,155 damage, 3 kills, 900 assistance, and yeah, pretty good all-round game. Actually, second damage, the 60p done the most, so he had a very, very good game, and we took home 8,000 credits profit. So not bad at all, honestly, for the Char. And that is the type of things that you can do. Even though that it has a long reload time at 4 seconds, you can still ambush tanks and isolate them very, very well. Like we did with the E75, like we did with the CC Mark II, it will easily outperform a lot of vehicles when they need to be isolated. Obviously, it's not going to be as good as, you know, quickly ambushing someone as a Skoda T50 or something like that, but this tank definitely does have its place. So hopefully this video has helped you out with deciding if you should maybe get a Char Futur 4. Obviously, wait until all the tank reviews are out and then you can make your informed decision. Tomorrow will be the 777. And just a friendly reminder, if you ask me in the comments section, should I get this tank? I'm not going to reply because it is only down to you. And my playstyle could be wildly different from yours. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.